If you are listening to this podcast, I'm going to assume that you are someone who values health, someone who likes to be in great physical shape, someone who values confidence, energy, not just personally, but in business, in life. So what I want to do today is do a 12-week check-in with you, basically. I've called it the 12-week Healthy Body Check-in. The question framework I'm going to go through today is an identical training that I did to our clientele a few weeks ago, where we evaluated their current performance, their current mindset. Then by the end of that training session, and by just as I'm going to do in this podcast, is by the end of the session, get them really, really clear on what they needed to do to meet their expectations of how they want to look and feel in the summer and beyond. Because I truly believe no one wants to look like shit in the summer. No one wants to down tools given the choice if they had another option. And no one wants to be lacking energy and confidence in their day-to-day life. So if you are listening to this in the car, on your travels, I encourage you to make a note in your phone. Definitely not if you're driving, sorry, but maybe listen back if you are listening to this in the car. But take a mental note as an absolute minimum on the key questions that stand out that you feel if you focused on the answer to that question, and more importantly, the action that follows the answer to that question, that you feel would help improve your health, body, whatever metric or outcome you truly value when it comes to health and body is important to you. Okay, because if we're trying to achieve a different outcome or a better outcome, what you have to do is ask yourself better questions. We're using questions all the time inside our Built to Last community, but a lot of people do not know what to ask themselves. Okay? So if you are spinning your wheels, and at the point of this episode, of course, it's exactly 12 weeks into 2024, then I really encourage you to hear me out on this whole podcast episode, because I guarantee, I can say with 100% certainty, there will be a question, or at least a handful of questions that will be light bulb moments, will create a breakthrough for you of what you need to do, how you need to think, and what you need to focus on to improve your progress immensely. First couple of questions around health essentials. What has been your average daily sleep so far this year? You might think, what has this got to do with anything? Right? If the answer to that question is pretty low and you've got poor sleep, there's a strong chance your eating habits are going to be negatively impacted by having poor sleep. There's a strong chance your motivation to train won't be too high if your sleep is poor. So try and evaluate what has been your average daily sleep in terms of quantity of hours and quality of sleep this year. Second question on health essentials. How many days approximately have you not drank at least 2.5 litres of water? If that answer is too high, again, there's going to be a strong chance that if you are dehydrated, you're not drinking enough water, you're likely to overeat, especially when stressed, tired, ending the workday, willpower is lowered. But if we're dehydrated, that problem becomes a lot bigger than it needs to be. Then when it comes to energy out, evaluate these questions. Number one, how many weights workouts have you completed total this year? So how many weights workouts have you typically completed as an average this year across each week? Is it 2 workouts, 3? Is it 4? Basically, how many times have you gone to the gym, smashed a great session when it comes to weights? Second question, what have been your average daily steps so far this year? Is it an average of 6K a day, 7, 8, 10 upwards? Because if we have aspirations of looking a certain way, feeling good in the summer, one of the core metrics of that is how much we're moving. Third question, how many cardio sessions, including runs, have you done? Right, this isn't a test. You don't need to do all of these things, by the way. But what we're trying to do here is evaluate our total movement out and see if there's any gaps that are holding us back. But how many cardio sessions, including runs, have you done this year in exactly 12 weeks? Fourth question around energy out is, how many mobility, Pilates, or yoga sessions have you done so far this year? And you might be someone who's never done yoga, never done Pilates, and doesn't do mobility. If you're 40 to 50 or older, I say with a lot of strength, that's going to bite you in the ass at some point if it hasn't already. And the reason this is important is not just from a consistency of doing it. If we're not doing mobility, Pilates, or yoga, or something like that, then our general movement is likely to be sticky. Our general movement is likely to be compromised. And when we are not feeling good with our general movement, guess what else it can impact? It can impact mood, our state. And when we're not feeling too good, guess what else we do? Eat shit, right? So keeping our body moving as best we possibly can has a massive impact on the other behaviors that contribute towards greater health and a body that's in shape. Number 5, in relation to the questions I've just covered with energy out, around weights, steps, cardio, mobility, etc., is your current output likely to meet your physique, confidence, and energy expectations by the summer? And that's a yes or no answer. So is your current energy out, your movement, your training, is that likely to meet your expectations around your physique, your confidence, your energy? Yes or no? It's not in between. It either does or it doesn't. And if the answer is no, this is my last question. If the answer is no, what are you actually willing to do about it? If it bothers you. Right? If this doesn't bother you and you're not where you want to be, then you probably pointless listen to the rest of the podcast. But if you are listening to this or you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I'm off track here, and if I keep doing what I'm currently doing, I'm not going to feel too good in the summer. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I willing to do? What am I willing to do with my training, my movement, my mobility, all the things that affect how you look? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Then if we move on to energy in, and you might have listened to the energy out and thought, no, I'm good, I'm training well, I'm moving well, I'm getting my mobility in, Pilates, etc., doing my cardio. If you're still falling short with your start of year expectations and you don't have 100% certainty that in the summer you're not going to be in your swim shorts on your holidays feeling great, then it's likely to be down to energy in and food. So first question around energy in is, how many days approximately have you eaten high quality food this year? And you might not be able to answer that. If you don't track your calories or keep a pulse check on your food, then if you're not looking how you want to look, there's a strong chance that's why. Because what we don't measure, we can't improve, especially if we're a little bit off from how we want to look, but we're still training and moving. So I think even if you're not a calorie tracker, you don't like following a meal plan, I think one of the things that I'd strongly urge you to do, and we do this with our clientele, is take pictures and videos or both of your food, keep a food log, write it down, just do something that helps you evaluate your current as is process. Because again, if we keep consuming the same and expecting to look a different way or feel a different way or weigh a certain weight, then without knowing what we're currently doing, it's hard to improve that. Second question, how many weekends have you not eaten well this year? I'll take a guess that if you are not quite where you want to be, it's likely to be down to the foods, drink, or both at the weekends. Most people are pretty good at staying sharp Monday to Thursday, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is 30 to 40% of the week, that's when the challenges come in, because people naturally want to consume more food and drink, or both, and you can do so much good work. But how many weekends out of the 12 so far this calendar year have you not eaten well? Third question, how many times have you drank alcohol this year? There's zero judgment. It's not a test. I'm not your dad, right? But evaluate, how many times have you drank alcohol this year? Is that the problem? Is that the challenge? Is that the thing that we need to improve? Okay. Number 4, would you rate your food management, as in calorie quantity and calorie control, great, okay, or bad so far this year? Great, okay, or bad so far this year. And the reason I use those words, if we want to look great and by default feel great in the summer, but our food isn't great, then we are absolutely deluded with meeting that expectation of looking great. It just doesn't add up. If where we want to be isn't aligned to what we're actually doing, then there's going to be a mismatch, okay? 5th question, this is about expectations again. If you keep eating as you are, do you think you'll look and feel the way you want to by the summer? So if you keep eating the way you currently are and have done the last 12 weeks, will you look and, more importantly, feel the way you want to in the summer? If the answer is no, what are you willing to do to change that? We cannot have the same food management system and expect a different outcome by the summer. It just doesn't add up. Okay? You don't need to change the world, but what are the small things you can do? More importantly, not the small things, what you can do, what are you actually willing to do? Because I'm yet to see anyone change by doing what they think they should do or maybe should do. Right? We have to follow through. Progress. I've done a separate episode on this. And this is why we're ruthless with check-ins and in our coaching service. How many weeks in 2024 have you checked in visually with yourself? Basically, how many times have you looked at yourself in the mirror, or better still, took some progress pictures for accountability, or took a video of your current shape? And you don't have to be a bodybuilder to do this, or an athlete. I just think, especially entrepreneurs and business owners, we would run through absolute fire for clients and team, and to get a sale or a deal, right? And to focus on someone else's agendas and solve someone else's problems. But I think it's absolutely imperative that, you spend a few minutes a week, at most, just evaluating, how do I look? How do I feel about how I look? Does it make me happy? Is it giving me the confidence that I want to live with? If the answer's no, start evaluating your own body. Honestly, what you pay attention to will improve, as I've said many times before. Second question in relation to progress, how many days per week do you weigh yourself? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it every day? Not a big fan of someone weighing in once a week. I think there's far too many variables that can influence your weight on that given day. You sleep the night before, how late you ate, stress, water, salt, so many things. But how many days a week do you weigh yourself? I've hammered this point on podcasts and to my clients. I really believe that weighing yourself every day is one of the greatest, most simplistic discipline tools to staying in shape you can possibly do. And it takes seconds in the morning. But how many days per week do you actually weigh yourself? Because a lot of people might be listening to this, and this might trigger people, but again, I'm straight talking as they come. A lot of people say they want to lose 10 pounds or 10 kilos or 20 kilos, whatever it is, right? But then you ask them the question, how many days a week do you weigh yourself? Oh, I don't. Or I just do it when I can or when I remember. It's madness. You'd never do that in your business. Third question. Are you happy with how personally accountable you've been, or just your accountability in general? Do you have accountability? Are you accountable to anyone? Right? How accountable have you been to monitoring your progress? Because for me, accountability is king. It's the number one reason people invest into our service and Built to Last, because can you achieve goals without accountability? Absolutely. Are you more likely to achieve your goals though quicker, smoother, with less stress with accountability? Absolutely. Right? But do you have it, and are you accountable? The answer is no. What are you willing to do to change this in the next 30 days? And I haven't even written this question down, but if you did change this and you had accountability, where would you be? How would you feel? How much more do you think you get done? Right? And what else would that mean in the bigger picture of your life? Mindset. A couple of questions here. How committed to your health and fitness have you been this year? Rate yourself 100% committed, average, or poor. How committed have you been genuinely with your health and fitness this year? 100%, average, or poor? And how does the answer to that question make you feel? Right? I genuinely think if you are a fully committed business owner, entrepreneur, or just high performer, don't you do yourself a disservice by substandard commitment to yourself and your health. You know the benefits this has on your business performance, energy, mood for relationships, and impact on the people that need you at your best. But how committed have you been this year to your health and fitness? If you listen to this and you say 100%, amazing, total respect, love it. I really have. I really look up to any business owner and entrepreneur who strives to value themselves and put the work in on themselves the way they do into their business and clients, team and family. Right? Our best clients are committed in everything they do. And it's no coincidence. We have stats and data on everything on our clients. Our most successful clients generally are in shape as well. They really are. Of course, if they were that perfect, they wouldn't need us in the first place. And we help take them up 5, 10, 20%. But they've always been willing. They've always been committed. We just give them a smarter set of tools to train more efficiently, eat more optimally, factor in their movement a little bit smarter into their calendar, manage the seasons a little bit better, take the headache, take the decision-making away from them. Second question around mindset is your current mindset likely to meet your expectations of how you want to feel about your health, fitness, body, and confidence this summer? So is your current mindset likely to meet your expectation? Is your current mindset likely to give you the confidence you want in a couple of months' time, the health you want in a couple of months' time, the body, that feeling of feeling amazing? If the answer is no, what can you do to keep your mind sharper and more disciplined? What can you do daily? What can you do daily that's going to keep you more disciplined and more focused? Environment. Over the last 12 weeks, has your current environment helped or hindered your health habits? Over the past 12 weeks, has your current environment helped or hindered your health habits? Are they moving you closer towards the health and body you want, or further away? Second question, who do you need to be around, or who do you need to connect with to sustain highest standards more consistently? Right? Who do you need to be around, or who do you need to connect with more to maintain higher standards more consistently? Who keeps you healthier on it implementing, or who could keep you healthier on it implementing? Now, just to end, let's focus on some action steps. Before we do that, well, the first question, when we evaluate, the next 30 days, next 90 days, these questions are infinite, really. You can apply these to any duration, but even to create some momentum over the next 30 days. Do you want to be better? Yes or no? As I said to our clients, do you actually want to be better? Because if we don't decide with full intent, we are already lining ourselves up to fail. When we half-ass whether or not we're going to choose to be better, it's just absolutely inevitable that we'll just fall into that mediocrity place and habits and choices, especially with food, will just be inconsistent. So make a decision. Do you want to be better or not? Second question, what is the one thing needed to start? What is the one thing you need to start doing immediately? And that will be from certain questions that we've already gone through. But what is the one thing needed? What is the one thing, you need to start doing immediately? What can you do right now off the back of this podcast? What needs to happen to really take and create immense momentum? Third question, what is the one main thing you need to stop doing? What is the one excuse that needs to go? Right? What categorically needs to go? Is it an excuse? Is it a habit? Is it a behavior? Is it a person? And how much difference would that make if you stop doing that thing or stop making that excuse? Number 4, this is like forward planning, just like we do with business. What challenges do you anticipate the next 3 months that may affect your habits, around your health, your shape, and your confidence? So what challenges do you anticipate? Asked one of my clients that the other day. He said travel, work, and family. Okay, what is the one thing you can do in those given areas? We all know challenges are coming, but if we can proactive and anticipate challenges before they happen, then we can put a better solution in place as and when that happens, so we're not reactive. Most people are overweight or struggle with their food and training. They're reactive rather than proactive. Last couple of questions. This ties in with people's why generally. Well, I'll say the 2 questions back to back. Who would you be letting down if you aren't healthy, in shape, confident, and energized? Who would you be letting down? What would that mean to them? And how would that make you feel? The next question is, why is it important you follow through, take action, and keep your promises? Why is it important you follow through, take action, and keep your promises? There is no greater confidence builder than following through on your promises and doing what you said you would do. But why is it important you do that? What is the real emotional value, the deeper meaning, the driving force behind being healthier, in shape? Because when we can attach the deeper meaning behind the goals, it's so much easier to implement the behaviors needed to meet our goals. The last question of all is, how will you remind yourself daily of who you need to be in March? Right, and that sounds a bit deep, a bit personal development, but of course, the more we manage ourselves, the better we perform, the better we choose, etc. But how will you remind yourself daily of who you need to be in March? And this was a question that some of my clients struggle with. And I said to my client, when you are feeling at your best, or if you were to evaluate the year to date, or even the last 3 years he's been with me, when you've been feeling at your absolute best, how would you describe yourself? Would it be a leader, confident, disciplined, high energy, focused, organized? But who are you at your absolute best? And how can you set daily reminders? One thing we do with our clientele is make sure, have something visually that's in front of you. We create confidence cards from our last event where people remind themselves of the 3 or 4 key words that describe their identity in themselves at their absolute best. But people forget this in day-to-day life. I do sometimes. Can you set reminders on your phone? Using the word I am. Who do you need to be? Okay. So a lot of questions there, but just gives you an insight into the depth that we go to inside our Built to Last coaching program, and more importantly, why we get the results we do. And I just want to share some of these questions that really do shift the needle and get people clear on what they need to focus on. Remember, ask yourself better questions. It changes what you focus on, and what you focus on generally leads to what you do. And you are the byproduct of what you do, not what you say you do. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.